Hey guys, this is a tutorial for a vintage chopping board. So let's get started quickly. I am taking this 16-inch chopping board. It is a wooden chopping board and I have prepped the surface with black and white gesso on two different sides. As you can see, the gesso is from Montemarte. Now next I'm prepping the surface with Decoupage glue by Fevicryl, and I have stuck this beautiful thin napkin sheet. If you want, I can link the vendor below. You can comment and tell me that. So let's quickly move to the next step. I am taking a mix of blue, yellow and green shades, mixing them up with white in different shades to create a background which matches with the mood and the tone of the picture in the center. The reason that I'm not going much in detail in these steps is because we have already seen these steps in a lot of previous videos on decoupage. So I'll be showing you majorly the process of aging in this. So I have created these borders with silicone molds using white clay. I'm using white air dry clay here. Now next step, I'm creating a very shabby looking sculpture flower that would look mostly dried and withered out. So I'm using palette knife for that and texture paste. I've created this texture paste on my own using white cement powder, acrylic, white acrylic color and some white glue. So I generally do not use that self-made DIY texture paste for this, but because this entire look is supposed to look a bit withered and aged, so I do not need a refined finishing for that. And to achieve a rough finishing, I am using something that I have created with my own hands, which I told you is like just three major ingredients: white cement powder, white PVA glue and white acrylic paint. I'm just creating a random flower. It's not any specific kind of flower. Again, if you need sculpture painting videos, do let me know. I'll make separate videos for sculpture painting with proper steps. In this video you won't really be able to copy the steps of sculpture painting, but I've just showed you a little bit of insight as to how we create petals and form the flower. Also I have used stencil to make all the leaf and the clock patterns that you see on the surface. So that is a raised stencil effect that also is made using texture paste. That texture paste is again same. I have made with white and blue color chalk paint, white PVA glue and white cement powder. I've made a very thick paste to create the stencil effect. Raised stencil effect brings out a beautiful 3D effect on the mixed media surface. Now here we are starting with the aging process. So I'll retire now and I just want you to keep watching this as we build up layer after layer. It's mostly going to be color dabbing, a lot of color washes, and we are going to basically play with color, chalk paint and we'll be using colored wax for this. Hey guys, now this is another step where I'm going to chip off the top layer of this wood just to reveal the bottom layer a little bit and make it look old and tarnished just a bit. Now I'm filling up these dents using wood stain from Little Crafty. You can get it at Itsy Bitsy store in India. I'm using it in two different colors. One is in brown shade, the other is in indigo blue shade, just to match with the surface and the photo. The photo which you see in the center, the picture or the main theme of the decoupage here, is a bit you can see washed off. So what I'm going to do later is I'll just paint over this oval in the center again, and in that area I'll replace with the same fresh sheet, because it's already looking very dark and washed off, and it is not bringing out a very intensified look, or it's not looking attractive, I can say. So I'll redo this part again, which is a very common thing while you are performing any kind of these mixed media art, because we do not follow any process. It's basically just art, and you follow whatever comes to your mind as the next step while building up layer after layer on this project. So if at any point you feel that the main focal point of my entire project is looking a bit dull, you can improvise it in this way, that cover it up again, and once you finish building up the layer, redo that decoupage section in a very you have to do it in a very clever way, so that it does not look pasted, something which is pasted separately. And you will again have to build colors around it so that it matches with the rest of the board. Now guys, this is the step where I want to start aging the surface by adding different tints of colored wax. So for this project I did not have a matching shade, but I did have this very old lipstick. So I am using that as a replacement for wax. Now that goes very well, as you can see. No one can it completely justifies the look. You will see once we finish this. So this particular shade is sort of a brownish burgundy shade, and once I smudge it well on the edges of the board, it mixes very well with the entire theme. You can see how beautifully it's giving a very deep intensified look on the borders, and it works well. Similarly, just a tip here, if you have old eyeshadows are basically mica powder that anyways we get loose mica powders for our art and craft purpose. So you can replace your old eyeshadow palette also, mix it up with a little bit of craft wax, and you are good to go. You have your own shade of colored wax, and it works beautifully on any kind of decoupage mixed media project to wonderfully develop aging on the sides, or to create a nicely color washed out effect. So you can see I'm just smudging everything together so that it blends properly on the board. So this is the next step. I could not find the recording for the step in between, but I will just narrate you over here that it is the back side of the board, and I have first applied one step crackle medium from Little Birdie Craft, which has developed natural cracks on the surface, and then I had painted over it with a very thin layer of white chalk paint. So that is why you see the minor fine cracks on the entire surface. Now this is a texture paste. It's very liquid in form. It is from Finnabar. It's Art Extravaganza If you want, I can link that also below. It's in patina shade basically. So I have colored the border or the edges of the board with this color. What happens is once it dries, it does not give a very smooth finish. It rather gives a very grainy, chipped out sort of a finish. So it automatically looks, quite dented. So you can see it's very thick also while I'm applying it. It's like a very, very hard chalk paint, if I can say so. Again, here in this step, what I'm doing is I'm using black colored wax, and I'm brushing it around all over the brush just to give it that smudged look and on the corners. And I have used this same black color wax on the edges over the blue paint also to cover it a bit. Here again I'm creating a raised stencil effect, raised relief art. This again is a DIY paste which I have made using black gesso, a bit of white acrylic paint to achieve the grey shade, white cement powder and PVA glue. So the texture depends on you. If you keep it as a thick texture, then it's very easy to handle the stencil, and the raised effect also comes out very neat and clean. You can see I'm spreading it with a broad palette knife first, and then I have used a thin palette knife to even it out. once you remove your stencil, if you find there's any minor imperfection on these letters, what you can do is wet a paintbrush and gently just correct whatever extent it's possible. Just gently correct these letters and these imperfections, as you can see I'm doing over here. So we managed to reach the end of this tutorial, and this is the final look. This is the entire cracked surface that you see on the back side, and on the front, as you can see, I have pasted the main theme, the lady, all over again. I have done the decoupage again so that the main focal point of my board looks neat, clean, and very attractive in this. Also, I have used a bit of chalk paint all over again to dab it on the surface to give it a little bit more washed look. So here is the video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. You can follow us on Instagram, where I make a lot of short reels on tutorials. You can also purchase these handmade solo edition pieces from our website www.thetintedwindowstore.com. The link is there below in the description. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you up in the next video. Bye.